Hello there, my name is Bob Pickering, Emergency Management Technician. I'll be presenting this edition of the Flagler Weather Update from here at the Emergency Operations Center. Just a reminder, I'm not a meteorologist. All the weather information I present comes from the National Weather Service. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at what we have going on in Flagler County right now. The only bulletin we have right now is for a high risk of rip currents right along the beaches. That's going to be with us all weekend long due to this nor'easter that's going to be moving in. So let's talk about the tropics briefly. We do have two tropical cyclones way out here in the North Atlantic. They're moving away from us. They're not a concern. Another system over here in the Northwest Caribbean, Northeast Caribbean is forecast to have an opportunity to try to develop maybe somewhere in this region here in the next 5 days, but we got plenty of time to watch that. We're not overly worried about that one right now, but we do have another system that's over here that might have a chance to organize. Matter of fact, it's pretty much got a 50-50 chance of that happening somewhere over Florida or the eastern Gulf of Mexico in the next several days. Now, no matter how this organizes, it's not really going to have that much of an impact on what we're going to get locally here, because there's more going on with our weather than just this. So let's get to that. So what exactly is going on? We have what we call a local northeaster or nor'easter setting up, and that is generally caused by a high pressure system to the north of us, and that wind coming around the high pressure system right on into Florida. But now on top of that, you have low pressure to the south of us, and that rotates the other way around. So winds around that are also meeting up with that high pressure wind, and both of those going right into Florida. And the pressure differences between these two increase those winds, and basically what we're getting is a knock-on effect of the interaction of the squeeze plate between these two systems. And that's what sets up our northeasters here in Flagler County in Northeast Florida. But the thing is that one key point is this setup is more or less be a factor in our weather all the way through this upcoming week and perhaps into next weekend, as several low pressure systems track to our south, or lower pressure stays off to our south. So it's going to be rather breezy around here with periods of unsettled weather off and on through all of next week. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're expecting this weekend. Heavy rainfall is going to be a concern. There's a possibility of some intense rainfall, especially along the coast of the system, and something that could lead to some flash flooding. You can see rainfall amounts here getting up into the 4 to 5 inches right along the immediate coast here. You could even see some higher amounts than that. So let's go ahead and take a look at some talking points. All of this is going to start up generally at some point either late Friday or early Saturday. And for most of us, going to be seeing winds about 15 to 25 miles per hour inland, but at the beaches, 25 to 35 miles per hour with higher gusts. Now, the one thing that will be a hazard is the rough surf, dangerous rip currents right along the beaches. So you do not want to be going down to the beach and into the surf anytime this weekend. Beach erosion will be likely, which is definitely a concern. Heavy rainfall we talked about earlier, and there could be some intense rainfall in short periods of time that could cause some localized flash flooding. So remember, if you're driving around, if you see a road that's underwater, don't know how deep it is, do not drive through it. The other concern that we will be watching is some tidal flooding, minor to possibly moderate flooding along the Intercoastal Waterway and Dead Lake. That will be possible. To what extent yet, we just do not know. It is nothing expected to be like Irma at all, but some of the areas that typically flood during, when we get nor'easters and higher water will likely flood with this event. So if you are in a low-lying area immediate to the Intercoastal Waterway, you do want to keep an eye on the tide levels as we go through this weekend. So let's take a look at our forecast now for the next several days. Rest of Friday, not too bad, but a chance of showers and storms at any time. Those rain chances will be increasing as we go into the evening. Highs generally in the upper 80s for this afternoon, lows in the mid 70s at night. Now, as we get into the weekend, here's where things start to get a little lively around here. We're going to see a northeast wind, remember, between those two weather systems starting to come in along the east coast. So no matter what happens, if we get a tropical cyclone to the south of us or not, we're still going to have this. And it's going to be driving in some periods of showers, maybe some intense rain, some spells of rain. But in the mix, you may also see some clear sunny spells thrown in, and the rain will be off and on. Won't rain all the time. There will be some solid periods of rainfall and some dry spells mixed in. But the stronger winds would be noted right along the coast. Winds will be decreasing as you go further inland, but your strongest winds, gustier winds, will be right along the immediate beaches. So let's take a look at our forecast now. Saturday through Monday, unsettled, wet and breezy, a little bit windy at the coast. Highs generally in the mid 80s, lows generally in the lower 70s at night. And as I was saying earlier, it looks like that this this unsettled pattern is going to stay with us right through next week. Again, the stronger winds will be along the beaches. There'll be some days where the winds are stronger than others, other days where the winds ease back a little bit. And of course, the periodic showers, rain, and some thunderstorms will be with us off and on, blowing in off the ocean at any time through the upcoming week. Highs in the lower 80s, lows in the mid 70s. Now, at the beaches, surf 3 to 5 feet, and the surf will be increasing. It's going to be becoming hazardous. So unless you really know what you're doing, don't be going out in the surf. Surf temperature 82 degrees. Rip currents will be at high risk, and UV index is high right now, but it'll likely drop down to moderate with the cloud cover with this weather system. So overall, not going to be that big of a deal for most of us, but if you have a home that's patched up from Irma, you want to make sure you secure any leaks best you can, secure any tarps because it will be breezy out there. Do the best you can to secure those things as this weather system is coming. Exactly how intense it's going to be, we still don't 100% know, but it is definitely going to be coming and affecting us. So for additional information, you can get to all kinds of weather links by going to flaglercounty.org and click on the weather section. Click on your weather radio, hurricanes.gov to see what's going on in the tropics and keep an eye on that disturbance. And also for our local weather and local weather bulletins, weather.gov/JAX. You can also catch this program on Spectrum and channel 492 as well as searching Flagler County on YouTube. Not only can you see this program, you can see other Flagler County government programs on these two sources here. That's going to wrap things up from the Emergency Operations Center. We don't plan to be back until sometime next week unless there's a dramatic change in the weather.